Hey everybody, Chris, also known as the Alter Ego, and I'm going to start a new series called From the Start. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a game that is maybe considered otherwise impenetrable, and or considered impenetrable, or hard to get into, and to play it from the start, from what I've done basically. So all I'm going to basically do with this little game is I'll have already played the tutorial, which in Crusader Kings 2 is quite lengthy. You have these 9 here, then you have these 9 here, and then you have these 9 here. I went through it. I mean, it's all very text-based. It isn't very interactive, so I actually don't know what I will have retained. But I'm going to play a new game, like I say, so I'm going to go single player. And the idea, I'll explain what Crusader Kings kind of is. It's what they call a grand strategy game, or a game where you kind of make your own game within it. I'm going to turn down the music a little bit because it's deafening, especially music-wise. There we go. As fantastic as the music is, talking and listening to the music that loud is kind of a bit much for me. Yeah, so you kind of make your own objectives. You can set objectives within the game, but you should have a more overriding goal with regards to playing this. So they are very, very deep games, very, I suppose, menu driven would be the other way of really looking at them. And yeah, let's give it a go. Let's not talk about too much. So first thing you do is you start off and you pick a country. So to select a character. So if I go to England, I can play King Harold II of Godwin. They give interesting characters to start off the game. So the time frame, as you can say, so the game starts in 1066, which is obviously, for us, people that were in the UK schooling system, that's the Battle of Hastings kind of thing. So you can play Duke William the Bastard, or the Conqueror, as he became King Harold, or King Harold Hardrade, who's King of Norway. This is up there. Or you can play anybody else. I can go to King Solomon of Hungary. I can go to King Ipli of Pex, and as you click on them, Kaiser Heinrich of Holy Empire, it gives you the difficulty for each character. So for King Philippe of France, difficulty normal 44%. If I pick my own county, he's quite difficult, very hard. I don't like very hard. So I'm going to go for, I'm going to start in Ireland because I'm Irish, and I'm going to start as the petty Kingdom of Munster. Difficulty is 47%, that's good. I have a vassal, and I'll tell you what a vassal is in good time, from what I know in the tutorial. And I'm going to play as this way, King Murchad of Munster, and he's 39, and his religious head is Pope Alexander II, and that's one of the themes within this game. So you'll see the tooltips and stuff come up at any given time, and that'll be, I'll explain this as I go along. So we'll just go on and play. And the one thing I'll say about Crusader Kings 2 is that it takes a long time for most things to load. Not for the game to load, but the game to start up and start. Certainly for me, it takes a long time. So it says, even though you're not playing as a pagan and playing as a man who's Catholic, who's headed by the Catholic Church, you will find that they are bound to influence your game in many ways. This hint screen will explain how their unique gameplay effects, so you can be useful even if you are a Crusader Kings 2 veteran, which I am not. The first thing to be aware of when dealing with pagans is that they are very much more aggressive than other more civilized religions. They can conquer or subjugate each other at will, and are always a threat to their neighbours due to their looting and their powerful troops. A wise leader will know when to strike at them, however, for the realms are far less stable than ours, especially in the early years of a new chieftain. So I realise I'm recording these videos in 1080, but it still might be quite hard to make out the text. So any that there is, I will try and read out as best I can. It basically says, any county that borders a pagan realm where the Vikings can access via sea or river is at risk of their raids. Vikings will come to their ships and steppe nomads on horses from the vast Tartar wastes. As they siege our counties, they loot and pillage the countryside, which will temporarily lower the tax income, so it is important to raise an army and get them out of there. If they manage to actually occupy holdings, they can pillage these even further, burning down buildings, or even entire holdings. We can prevent this by building forts. The fort level presents looting, and heavily fortified counties could even block the Vikings' ability to seal down rivers. The pagan themselves are not the only threat. Vikings can declare their intention to invade a civilized country. Heathen adventurers from far and wide may then travel to join the ranks, boosting a normally harmless realm into serious threat for even the mightiest of civilized rulers. We can attempt to civilize the barbarians by setting our religious counselor to the rulers. If all else fails, you can dominate them with holy wars, etc., etc. So the basic premise of this, I'm going to close this, is that you are going to conquest or take over parts of the world based on either war or plots of intrigue or succession or relationships, things like that. So my general idea is that this is my little space here. Thormund and Armand. So here's my dude here, King Murchid of Munster. Then I have Marshal looks after Ormond, or Ragnvald of Ormond. And yep, this is my realm here. Now I would ideally like to take over the whole of Ireland as my goal, and stop us from being taken over by England or Scotland or any of the bigger countries that there are. So as you can see, the maps put into counties. I can go right down to the level of the thing here, and I can see my cities and all those bits and bobs. You can go over here and see Leicester and Lincoln and York, and oh, York's burning. Oh, lovely. And within here I can see various bits and bobs. He's defending against William the Bastard, whereas we are not. We're Irish, we're Catholic, we have 25,500 supply, with 0% revolt risk, with other bits and bobs. With these numbers beside the military advances, and I have no idea what they mean. County tax 16.6, whatever that means. And within here I have a city of Limerick, I have a bishopric of Killaloe, and I can build something else new, and that's all that we have really at the moment. The holdings are the base of the game's economy. Holdings provide tax income and a military levy. Cities are rich but have poor levies. Temples are both rich and provide good levies but are hard to defend. Okay, counties have different levels of technological advancement, which tends to spread from one province to neighbours. So we get bonuses based on our neighbours for a percentage. Still kind of don't know what it means. The capital holding of a county is always held by the count. The other holdings can be held by anyone. So the other idea is, and I'll take you up here, is these are the game's currency, if you speak. So wealth 63, we'll call them whatever we want. 63 something. I think they're ducats in Europa Universalis, which is another game that have been. I didn't know whether to do it in this or that, so I thought I'd start with this one. Prestige, which is the main currency in the game, which basically says how prestigious your nation is, which is ultimately what your end goal is. And at the moment ours is sitting in 30, and it goes up by 1.31 per month. We have piety. So piety is your religious kind of influence, I think. As far as I know, this is what I picked up from the tutorial. And then I've got a immense size. I never know how to say that word. Weird. 1 out of 3, and that basically says I can hold 3 regions myself. I'm only holding 1 at the moment. I can hold 3. Once you get above 3, you have to introduce a system what's called known as vassalization. And vassalization is basically where you pick a trusted advisor or person, or could be a relation, and we say, you know, look after this for us. And the weird thing is, you would think if you give somebody a region to look after, they'd love you. But what happens is, depending on their personality or whatever, they might get greedy and think, well, I want the whole lot. They might be very, very good and very respectful of you and like you an awful lot, but which will come up in time, but they might not, and they might rise up against you. I don't know exactly what that is. Well, there's King Murchid of Munster. And my vassal and my bishop and stuff, I don't know, and then we've got a score at the end. There's notifications that will come up here at the end, but that's us. Now the first thing we should do is go to our character screen. King Murchid of First of Munster, and this takes us to our character screen. Right. We don't have a wife at the moment, or do we? I can arrange it. Right, okay. I have a her. Brian McMurchid. He's the Heir of the Petty Kingdom of Munster. He's 18. Not a bad looking kid. He doesn't like me very much, as you can see. Opinion of me -7. My opinion of him is 72, quite high. He is my son. Okay. I have my parents, King Donahad of Munster. He's 65. King Brian of Munster. And my grandmother, children, and I have 3 siblings. One died, boy, age 50. Half brother, doesn't like me either. And another half brother, doesn't like me either. So the first thing I'm going to do, according to this this game, is set a ambition for myself. So this is the overarching ambition at the start, and you get rewards for this if you manage to fulfill it. So mass wealth, have a personal wealth of at least 500. I don't think I'll go with that. Become paragon of virtue. So that would be get a piety of at least 500 of 30 at the moment. God, seems like an awful lot away. Become exalted among men. Have a prestige of at least 1,000. Also seems unlikely. Desires to get married, and that would give me 10% piety. That sounds like it's something that's achievable. Prove a stewardship. Have a stewardship of at least 8. That would give me another 100 prestige. Want to improve learning, 100 prestige. Diplomacy would give me 100 prestige. Improve his intrigue, 100 prestige. And become King of Ireland would give me 1,000 prestige. Well, I'm going to go for arranged marriage, which is that one. Okay. I desire to get married. And that is that. Okay. So I've set the game up pretty much for us to go on. In the next part, we'll start playing the game. I'll decide what we're going to do to start, whether we're going to make some relations with our other neighbouring counties, whether we're going to go to war with them, what we're going to do. As you can see, this is the map of the whole game. Seljuk, Comania, Perm, Kolosami, Norway, etc. Yeah, we'll come back and we'll do that. But until next time, I'll see you then. Bye!